Here is a vintage Panasonic auto stop pencil sharpener. The pencil sharpener from Panasonic that appeared in a video a couple of weeks ago seemed to capture a lot of attention, so I figured we'd give this one a showing as well, because there must be some interest in these. Here's the informations. It is the Panasonic electric pencil sharpener model KP-77, made in Japan, so no wonder it still works, and it works well. The Japanese really know how to make good products. Now this is, I would suspect this probably goes back to the 80s. There is a backstory behind this thing. My grandfather used to have one just like this. I'm pretty sure it was the exact same model. It looked just like this. And I always used to like using it when I would go over there because it just worked so well. And this would be in like the 2000s. So I would use the pencil sharpeners at school, and they weren't totally deplorable yet, but they were getting pretty cheap. And compared to this one, I mean, this was just so much better. This thing sharpened fast, and it would give a sharp point. You know, this was really a good sharpener. And so I would use it all the time over there. And then one day somebody put a pencil in backwards, and naturally it jammed. And I don't know why, for whatever reason, it was just canceled out and replaced, which I found, looking back on it now, I find that very odd, because my grandfather was always the kind to repair instead of replace, and pulling some thin metal shaving out of a gear is totally within what he's capable of doing. So I'm not sure why it was discarded and replaced instead of repaired, but that's what happened. So it got replaced with something, and it wasn't totally abysmal, but it wasn't anything like this one. It was just a pretty generic, common. It was either like a Boston or an X-Acto. I think it was an X-Acto. It was just an all black model. Similar form factor and shape to this one, but nothing anywhere near the performance. And so they got that one, and I just never really cared for sharpening pencils over there again. So then go forward a couple years later, I started to get into the eBay thing and looking at stuff on there, and one of the things I wanted to buy was one of those pencil sharpeners. And so I did. I found one. Back then the prices on eBay were much more reasonable than they are now. So I bought it, and it shipped, and it took a while. It's kind of crazy to think this was only like 10-15 years ago, but the standard shipping time for USPS was 7 to 10 business days, depending on where it was in the country. And so depending on how quick the seller operated, it could be more than half a month before you receive the package, which is crazy, because today it's like 2 days is the standard, and stuff is here real quick. But that's how it was back then, and that's how long it took. So this takes that long to ship, and then it arrives. And it arrives in a manila envelope. Not a padded flat rate envelope, a manila envelope, like what you would put document into. And so of course it's all screwed up. I'm surprised it even arrived, because there were so many holes in the package, and it was so torn up from handling something it was never intended to handle, that I'm really surprised it even showed up at all, and it didn't just get separated from the machine and that was the end of it. So the damage was primarily within the the front here, you can see there's a couple of cracks down in the plastic. Seems to be just cosmetic or superficial. It's not loose or anything, and it still holds the shavings just fine, and it works. So, I'm not happy about that, but it's not really detrimental. There's a look at the mechanism. I think I have taken this apart and serviced it once. It's got like foam insulation there to keep the dust out from where the motor is. And it's a really well built machine. Very good quality piece. Now I think excuse me, I think that the thing has to be on there in order for the motor to activate, but I'll see if I can activate it without the motor. Without the thing in there, so we can watch it operate. I've got a pencil here which needs some major sharpening. This just broke. That's right, I'm sitting there, taking notes, blah, 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 it just snapped. I'll tell you, nothing is built the way it used to be. Simply done, like simply junk. Okay, anyways, let's see. Oh, I guess it will operate. I thought that it wasn't. Huh. Okay. So, turn this to the light more. There we go. Yeah, I must have serviced it. It seems like it's got a pretty good lubrication to it. I don't want to make a total mess here, so I'll put this back in, and then we'll sharpen the pencil with the catcher in place. This has it had like suction cup feet on it at one point. They're still there, but they don't really suction anymore. It's been sitting on those things for who knows how many centuries, so they're tired. So the consequence is you kind of have to hold it because it'll just push off the table. Look at that, it's quick, and that point is sharp. It's literally sharp. I got another one here. This one's kind of dull. And it's fast, it's powerful, and it's a nice clean. It gives you a nice clean shave there. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic pencil sharpener. It's powerful, it's reliable. It gives such a good, clean, sharp point. It's just a great piece of equipment. I wish it was in better cosmetic shape, and I wish this was the original instance that my grandfather had, but it's not. So, oh well, it's still a great machine.